Seamus got in touch with me through my office. He had been in touch about 2 projects before that I couldn't do. It would seem, as he told me, that he liked my voice from Mrs. Brown, the movie, with Judi Dench. And he wanted to use it for various little ideas that he had. But this one I really fancied myself.
You must tell us a little bit about working with Seamus Heaney, because if you have a view of what a Nobel laureate for literature is probably like, and then you meet Seamus Heaney, it's perhaps not your impression or stereotype or idea of what a laureate is like.
Yeah, well, I just have a memory of a lovely guy, a lovely, friendly, instantly likeable, instantly knowable kind of man. We met in an hotel in Dublin and he explained the project and I instantly liked it. I instantly liked him. I'd always liked his work before and I'd liked his image. You know, I'd seen him in various things over the years. I mean, a Nobel Prize winning poet, my God.
And in terms of, let's talk a little bit about the project itself, because the language of translation, the Ulster Scots, that is the language, I suppose, that he speaks and his folk speak, is not too different from some Scottish words and Scottish inflections. So is that also attractive to you?
Yes, it was. There's a lot of words I was very familiar with, but Henryson's words were really difficult. You know, 15th century Scots is pretty hairy, and Seamus had done, I keep calling him Hamish, had done this extraordinary translation where, and it isn't just straight translating word for word. You have to get the mood right as well and the humour right. So it's a work of genius.
A work of genius, and also, I mean, he is also attracted to fables, the big stories like Beowulf that lasted for a very long time. And these stories, although they're from Scotland in the 15th century, they've got their roots way back in history, haven't they?
Yes, it's the way back to the time of Aesop, you know, and the 2 mice and the fox and the wolf. They're basic morality tales that have been told for centuries. But Henryson had a really warm way of dealing with it, and I think that's what attracted Seamus to them.
And in terms of, can we talk a little bit about you as well? I mean, there have been a lot of stories about your health and so on. How are you now?
Yeah. I'm okay, you know, I'm old.
You're old. You look all right.
I'm old and I'm cold. Yeah. I'm going deaf. I can't walk very well.
You sound miserable. Yeah, you look miserable as well.
I'm getting better. Yeah, I'm getting a lot better. I'm a lot better than I was.
Yeah, well,
which is a wonderful position to be in.
They do say growing old is better than all the alternatives, but growing old is certainly better than the alternative. And
yeah, someone once said growing old is not for sissies. They knew what they were talking about.
Yes. Okay. Well, we also have touched on a bit of the obvious Scottish identity and the Scottish identity question, which has come up again today in our news constantly. In terms of, do you pay any attention to the Scottish independence debate? Do you care about it?
Not much. I try and keep a way out of it. I don't want to be an influence in it. You know, I don't want to influence anybody. A lot of people take your word for like it's spun gold. There's some sense to it. I don't want to influence anybody, so I shut up. I think the Scots will come to a good conclusion in the referendum. They'll get what they deserve.
They'll get what they deserve.
Yeah.
Right, I'm wondering what that might be. But in terms of you, didn't you say you know, that you felt more in common coming from the shipyards in Glasgow with a shipyard worker in Belfast or somebody in Newcastle or Liverpool? That's where you feel a degree of community. Is that right?
Yes, it's a thing I was always saying when I was asked about nationalism. I've never been a nationalist and I've never been a patriot. I've always remembered that I have a lot more in common with a welder from Liverpool than I do from an agricultural guy from the Highlands, although I do love them. You know, I love Scotland. I love all its different faces. But that's why this referendum thing is so difficult. You know, it's a morass that I care not to dip my toe into.
Do you even have a vote?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so are you actually going to vote, or are you going to not bother?
So I'm not going to vote.
You're not going to vote?
No, I won't be there. I'll be in New Zealand.
That's about as far away as possible. Perhaps a good choice.